What?
100% is impossible. 97 is closer to the truth.
It's a. Okay. We are a third down the page, Ches, and the line starts with the word V'sherish Nevosai. Avram, right? Where's Gabriel?
He hasn't been back.
He didn't come back yet?
It's been a very good chasna.
No. Okay. That's always a danger. Okay. Okay. I don't mind learning with you alone.
Me neither.
And now that I have also
97% of
Stoller, that enriches the class enormously. So we are discussing further the principle of the Nevuah of Moshe Rabbeinu relative to the Nevuah of the other Nevi. And clearly the objective, no, what objective? The objective is not just to distinguish between Moshe and the other Nevi. The objective is to understand the term Zeh versus Koi. We say only Moshe can relate to Zeh. Other Nevi'im could not relate to Zeh. That means that Zeh is an extremely pure principle. That the other Nevi'im must find B'koi, Moshe Rabbeinu must find B'zeh. Okay? Which means, as we said, that it is a direct recognition, direct knowledge of the Etzem HaDover. Etzem HaDover, we already explained, that it means not something that looks like it. If you look at the person in the mirror, you know for sure that this is this person. But in fact what you're looking at is a look-alike. You're not looking at him. Looking at him and looking in the mirror is not different in terms of the certainty as to what you're looking at.
Looking at him and looking at the mirror.
And the mirror of him, a reflection of him in the mirror.
It's not different in terms of what?
Certainty as to what you're seeing. When you see him in the mirror,
Right.
you're certain you're seeing him. When you look at him, you're certain you're seeing him. So in terms of certainty,
We're not looking at him.
but you're not looking at him. You understand? That's the fine point. It's what Etzem HaDover. As Shalom, he understands it too.
Is there somebody else here?
No, this is it. Gabriel never returned yet. You saw the film?
Thank you very much for this.
What?
For the Shiva Tzrik Zanatil, we're going to
Okay. Fine.
after the Shiva.
Okay.
Not forget. So money also.
Okay.
Only Gabriel's one more person, no? Just Gabriel?
Somebody else? No, they were the shluchim.
The Shluchim quit.
No way.
Your guys will be better Shluchim than the Shluchim. What?
After the daf. We evaluate Schar van the Shiva, Machalmayim.
Yeah, no, Adarab. You call the punches.
Aber sie macht man einen Stickel-Test in dem.
A what?
Stickel-Test. Sie macht man einen Test.
Ask them to repeat to you what they taught on Tuesday. One Tuesday, another Tuesday. So they're trying to understand.
Don't try my search for summary.
Maybe. I'm sure.
Okay.
Tell me the truth, Shalom.
Yes.
Were you listening to our conversation here?
Conversation or class?
No, the class conversation.
Yes.
Okay. Now that you listen to class conversation, do you sense the difference between what the distinction of what you said?
Yeah, if you look at a photograph and you see a person, you see the person, okay, but you see the person, it's not the person, the photograph. It's just, huh?
Yeah. Do you sense the difference?
Between a photograph and a person, yeah. I can understand the difference in the photograph of a person and a person.
Okay. Please elaborate.
What is the difference? One is a depiction of something, a highly accurate depiction, but it is not the thing itself. It's not alive.
It's not the thing itself. In other words, there's a big difference between certainty and reality. Understand? You can be certain, for instance, you talk about Hashem, you can be certain if you have a solid, logical proof argument. It can be such a clear argument that you're certain. But it doesn't mean that you see him himself. To see him, that requires a purity of the soul, a purity of Veda. It's a completely different thing. As a matter of fact, you can be certain about Hashem and yet be challenged with every mitzvah and every aveda. But if you actually see him, it's a completely different thing. Why? Because when you see him, that gives you the strength and inspiration directly to follow it. When you know it certainly, that's only your brain that's compelling you in a certain direction. It doesn't give you inspiration. It doesn't provide any reality, any experience of life. This is why it's extremely important to understand the Indian from Zeh. Because in fact, we, Yidden, are privileged because of our neshamas to actually recognize Elokus as we should discuss it. Not with certainty, but with clarity, with reality. As a matter of fact, I quote the Rambam all the time. You're with me still, right? I quote the Rambam all the time. The Rambam says that the basis of wisdom, Amud HaChochmes, is to know that there's a first being. That means that the knowledge of the first being supersedes the wisdom. It's a completely different level of knowledge. And that becomes the basis for all my wisdom. If I base all my wisdom on this knowledge, that means this knowledge is pretty clear and solid.
Does that mean that it's not logical to come to the conclusion that everything comes from one, that it's beyond logical?
It's beyond logical. It's a reality. This principle is recognized only by the Jewish soul. It's not on the basis of logic. Logic, the Goyim can also follow logic very well. When Eden said Nasa v'nishma, it wasn't on the basis of logic. On the basis of personal recognition. This is the reality that I know.
How can we know such a reality that's so That everything comes from one, because from much.
How do we know that?
That everything comes from first cause. We know the experience, the first cause. We're already in the trillions of causes already.
That is, on contrary, that is on the Chochmah level, on the experiential level, on the logic level. But on the essential level, what our Neshama knows, we don't know things from watching the world. On the contrary, we watch the world through the eye, through the lens of what we already know of the truth. This is how we look at the world. I mean, I have much to say on that. I don't want to go away from Maimon completely, but we mentioned many, many times. That the way a human being knows things and the way an animal knows things, they also see things. They also have eyes. Are they seeing the same thing we do? We know for sure that it's not the same thing. What's the difference?
We said that the person sees the reality.
And we do see the reality because of a different neshama completely. We look at things totally differently. What happens is we forget about that. And when we're challenged and say, how do you know? Oh, I don't know, I know. How do I know? I know. Because I'm a human being, that's why I know. If you don't know, you have to question your human credentials.
There is no way through logic to reach this conclusion that everything.
Again, you can reach the conclusion very cleverly, but I'm explaining to you that doesn't do it. Be even some more than logic. You see something in a mirror. What can be more clear than a mirror? Or a picture, like some say. It's exact representation, exact replica. And yet there's a difference. And only that difference makes the whole difference. So what does logic have to do with it? Logic is not going to help any. We have better than logic. We have an actual reflection.
So how does a person become like more? How does a person see the world like this through this lens of their neshama?
Well, yeah, that is essentially by learning Torah. Because Torah presents the world from that perspective. We don't necessarily understand it at first, but as you learn it, you see that this is exactly the circle of Torah. Yes, Shalom.
Abba Paltiel ZH. We had an argument this morning. He says it's inside. He says, from what I understand, it was first Atzilus and then Kabbalah, and then Atzilus. So it doesn't seem inside.
All right.
No comment?
No, it's out of context. Ein Atzilus is called Ein Sof. Relative to our world, it's Ein Sof. There is what's called the Klolus and the Protis. The Klolus, Elam Hasilus, is called Elam Asiya. Relative to Adam Kadmon, it's called Elam Asiya. But the Protis in our set of worlds, so to speak, it's talking about Atzilus, Bris, Yitzir, Asiya, Elam Atzilus is Ein Sof. In Koiches HaNefesh, Elam Atzilus corresponds to Chochmah. And Chochmah, relative to Bina and everything else, is applicable.
Thank you.
All right, let's continue a little bit. Okay, at the end of that line, B'Sheresh and Nevuosai. You have that place? About a third from the top, page Ches. At the end of that line, V'lochen Ksiva Moshe. This is why by Moshe it says, V'ateire oisoi ki toiv hu. That she, his mother, saw him, that he was toiv. You know the story, right? I don't have to repeat the story. You have it, because Moshe was born at a time when there was a Gzeres Pareh. She saw that he was toiv. What is the influence of the word toiv? V'hainu b'chinas ri'iyo dechochma. This ri'iyo is the experience, the element of ri'iyo of chochma. Kemaimer. And as the saying in the Gemara is, Ezehu Chochom Haroya Ez Hanoilet. Okay, here we're going into a few lines that are very, very clear and very important to understand. Ezehu Chochom Haroya Ez Hanoilet. That's what the Gemara says. Who is the Chochom? One who sees Hanoilad. Normally the touch Hanoilad means what?
Future.
The future. What's going to be the consequence of what you're doing? No, what's going to be born from this action? Let's make Noilad. Then there is a deep Hasidic touch in this. Pirush, which means the Pirush, the Hasidic pshat in the word Harez Hanoilad, Sheroye as Hayesh, that he sees the yesh, k'mei shehu noilod mei ho'ayin. Royas ha-noilod. He sees how the yesh is born from ayin. And I'm going to explain this in a moment, right now, as a matter of fact. When we look at the yesh, yesh, anything physical is a yesh. Looking at it just by simple coarse observation, like what's a yesh? A yesh is something that, let's say there's a table here, it will obstruct. If I have to go from here to there, I have to go around, because otherwise the table is going to obstruct my walk. It interferes right now. It's a yesh. This yesh is a presence. It's there. I don't even think in terms of it coming into being. I only see its presence. It's there. Yesh. This is how we see the yesh from a worldly and an experiential perspective. We don't think in terms of, but the yesh always here. Who brought it here? No, it's just there. It's a mitzias. A chochem sees the yesh in a completely different way. He sees the yesh as a noilod. He sees that the yesh is coming forth from ayin. What does that mean? It's coming forth from ayin. He doesn't know what the ayin is. He doesn't see the ayin. It means that when he sees the yesh, he says to himself, yes, this is a yesh. But actually, there's absolutely no compelling reason why the yesh should be there. It is there only as a result of the ayin. The ayin makes it be. There's no other compelling reason for it to be. That's why the roya is ha-neilot. Neilot ha-yesh is neilot min ha-ayin. Please follow this. When we see the yesh, the table, for instance, on the basis of the fact that it would be that it's useful, or it would be obstruction, or any kind of functional element, how it affects me, how it's beneficial to me, then I'm seeing the table not because there's a table, but because of its functionality. I'm seeing, okay, I have to go from there to there. Oh, there's something in the middle. So I'm seeing it because of the effect of how it affects whatever other plans I had. Follow? Mm-hmm. So then I'm not seeing the table as a standalone reality unto itself. I'm seeing it only from the perspective of my eyes, of what it means to me, and how it affects, how it changes the entire this circumstance over here. Not the independent reality of the yesh. A chochem, he is not at all involved in just in his personal interest. The chochma is seeing things in a pure way. What is this thing unto itself? Not what it means to me. Das mit der Choch. He sees the reality because it's real, not because it has meaning to me. You understand? For its own sake. This means that he sees it be'ayin. It's just there. There's no reason for it to be there. It's just a reality. It is neilot min ha'ayin. The ayin wants it to be there, and that's why it's there. There's no other reason. In other words, it does not see it in a qualified way, meaning what is its function and what is its purpose. How does it affect everything else? He sees it in an absolute way. It's just a reality. It's there. The ayin makes it. It's as true as the ayin itself. So now let's look inside. You with me, Shalom? What is ha-neilot? Okay, I'll wait until you finish looking. Pirush sheroyes ha-yesh k'mei shehu neilot min ha'ayin. He sees the yesh as the yesh comes forth from the eye. What does it mean? Lefi, because. She'ei masti lefon of klal. But for this chokhmah, there is no hester. There is no concealment. Kol bechinas ha-yislapshus ve'hishtalshelus me'ila v'yol. Everything comes me'ila v'yol. In other words, in terms of our mosh of the table. When we look at the table, So immediately we conceive, okay, why is the table here? Somebody must have brought it here. Why did they bring it here? Because he has to do something. There are cause and effect. There are other reasons. So he doesn't see the table purely as a presence. He sees the various causes that brought it here. That's meant ila v'yol. That conceals on the essential reality. And the same thing in Ishtalshus Oilamus. In Ishtalshus Oilamus, there is all kinds of ila v'yol, cause and effect, and Halamas has stated. And therefore you don't see the pure truth of the ayin creating it. But the Chacham, because a master in front of cloud called Bechinas Slapshus Vayishtalshalus Meila V'yol V'chol Hamsokim V'Parsois, all the various curtains and concealments, Einon Me'alimim U'Mastirim L'fon of cloud, do not at all have any effect. They do not conceal the truth from him. How is that? Because that he, the Chacham, he receives his perception from the aspect of Chokhmah. What is the aspect of Chokhmah? Which is bilti hislapshus bibchinas dmus umara. The meaning of Chokhmah is that it does not come in hislapshus, I'll explain in a moment, in any kind of dmus umara. Dmus means a likeness. When you see a person that you never saw before, generally speaking, you would immediately kind of form some kind of an opinion about this person. On what basis? On the basis of some impression you have of how he smiles and how he looks and how he giving you an impression of what type of person he is. You may be wrong, you may be right, but the point is you form an opinion. This is called Dumus Umara. You're not looking at the person directly. You are impressed by some of his mannerisms, the impression that of his eyes, the twinkle in his eyes, that you have living eyes or sleeping eyes. You know, all of these things immediately make you think about the person in a certain way. This is called Dumus Umara. A Chokhmah does not engage in that type of observation. Chokhmah goes straight to the reality itself. What am I seeing? Not how I interpret it. This is the Inyan Chokhmah. This is why Chokhmah is called Bittul. Bittul means I don't have my own opinion. I only see what I see, what's being shown to me. So there's no interference with the truth. The meeting slaps with the penis doing not seeing you through a lens, through someone else's presentation, to other experiences that I had. I'm seeing you directly. That's my Chacham. Lochen, and thus, therefore, he, the Chacham, he sees the noilad yesh me'ayin, the yesh as it is born from the ayin, he below, k'moy l'maylo mamash, exactly as the inyan is l'maylo. Bilti chiluk madregis klal, without any difference in madregis, whether you see it the way things are l'maylo, the things are l'mato, it makes no difference. In other words, be giving a mashal from a physical table. A chacham, literally, He can look at a physical entity. He can look at a spiritual inyan, an ordinary Torah, and he sees it in the same clarity. He will not see a Metzias in the world as a yesh by itself. He would see it immediately as a yesh miyayin. Because there's no interference with Chochmah. The Inyan HaChochmah is that it goes to the etzem. What is the essential truth of this? What is the essential truth of anything in the world, physical or spiritual? What is essential truth? There is only one essential truth. Matzei Rishon Mamsikol means. Otherwise, there is no truth. There is no Metzias. Like Rambam says, "Me'amitis hi motzei nimtzu kol hanimtzoyim." All everything that exists in the world represents an element of truth. Why? Because it represents the truth of His presence. And this is how a Chacham views everything. What? When the Rebbe spoke to people, he spoke to people, the entire spectrum. He spoke to everyone. You would think exactly the same way. He saw right through, he spoke to his neshama, to this one, to the top and to the lower, everybody, to the children. He recognized everyone exactly. Exactly how he is. Yeah. Since that on this Chacham is not applicable any kind of halamis v'hesterim, any kind of concealments. As mentioned before, the reason there is no concealments on Chochmah is that Chochmah does not look at things through some peripheral lens, a peripheral approach. It looks at things directly, so it sees whatever there is to see. That's what it sees.
What can you explain more what it meant about that the Ilah Be'olu, looking at the Ilah Be'olu of things just conceals?
Like I explained to you, the table over here in this place. It's a table, but it's also in this place. When you enter this room and see a table, you don't see a table. You see the reason why it's here. Right?
Okay. You see the reason why it's here because somebody brought it here.
Somebody brought it here for a certain purpose.
Right.
Okay. The same thing we don't discuss. I think I discussed it over here. Using the analogy of a table. A table is a very useful unit. Now, the reason that we human beings use tables is not because of its utility, because of its usefulness. We use tables because there's a human quality in this. It's called royal quality. I discussed it one time.
A royal quality?
Royal quality. In other words, as a human being, I don't have to hold the book in my hand. I hold everything in my hand. No, I have an area around me, like halachically, there's 4 amas around every person that belongs to him, and it's more than that, but in principle, I can put it down and it's going to stay there. And this space around me serves me. This is the Malchus element. This element of Malchus in a human being is an element that is a human element, a primary human element. And the essence of the table is actually that human element, not the 4 legs on the board, not its utility, but its significance, its human element. That's the real thing. That's what it represents. When you look at the table as a board and 4 legs, you're looking at it already through Hishtalshelus, Ilu ve'olu. I need a table, and I need it over here, so I commissioned a carpenter to put it together. And it's not the real thing. It's not the table as I envisioned it in my nefesh. You understand? So normally anybody would look at a table and say, "Oh yeah, the carpenter built it because it's pretty useful." Nobody will look at it from its essential reality. But that's what it is. It's a neshama thing. You can't teach an animal the value of a table. There's no way. There's no way. It doesn't have it. You can, train the cat to serve, but it won't relate in the same way as how the human being relates to a human being. This is a perfectly suitable, natural phenomenon. A chacham sees only the truth. Truth is only the godly truth. Therefore, whatever he looks at, he sees the godly truth in it. Where is the truth? Why? What is the inception of it? What is it based on? What is the spiritual reality of it? That's what he sees. You understand? We speak about these things all the time. Like I said, ownership. Remember I discussed about ownership. Ownership is exclusively a human phenomenon. Animals don't have ownership. Ownership is clearly a godly gift. The Rebbe had transferred some of his ownership to the human being. There's no other way to explain it. And those human beings who do not subscribe to the fact that the Rebbe created the world do not understand ownership. You can't explain it to them. You can bang on the table, it just won't enter the mind. They don't have a basis for it. You understand? There's no reality. On Chochma there is no possibility of halomas v'hastei, because Chochma is bittul and you can't obstruct it. He sees lamato, like I said, a Chochma will see a physical table as an example, the way it is rooted in nefesh. The reality of it. This is why any keli that a tzaddik used we value enormously. A keli, an object, a table, a chair, whether you have a set, it's very valuable. Why? It's a physical chair. What's the difference? This chair and that chair. This table and that table. This safer and that safer. What's the difference? You know, in the world, you find a historical value, you know, but we don't go by history. What is its intrinsic value? There is an intrinsic value in it. Because he looked at it the way he looked at it. He put his neshama into it. Because everything that you use, you put your neshama into it.
By the example of the table, so that the Chacham sees it how it's rooted in the nefesh. He said that by the table, the Chacham sees it as it's rooted in the nefesh, right? The human aspect of it. But
the godly aspect, really. The human, we call it the human aspect because the Rebbe should put it into the human being, but they said the godly aspect. I said before, who gave the human being the sense of ownership? It's the godly presence in the human being, because God owns everything. True ownership is only in Hashem's hands. So it's beferish in the pasuk. You know the plain pasuk said, by Yovel, everything returns back.
right.
And then it says in the Torah, because it's all mine. You were a guest by me. And this is how you have the whole phenomenal ownership, because I'm giving it to you. Those people who do not recognize this Indian, that the world belongs to Hashem, and that Hashem gives it, so they don't have real ownership, because the basis of everything is nothingness. So you take it from nothingness, I take it from you, it becomes my nothingness. There's no real ownership there, to begin with. The whole basis of your owning something, from their perspective, is that nobody else owns it. But I'm coming and I'm taking it, so I own it. You understand? The basic phenomenon of ownership doesn't exist. Shalom is going to give us a lecture right now.
What's the topic? On what topic?
On what you wrote.
I wrote about ownership.
Yeah? Read it.
The whole letter?
Yeah.
Okay. Addressed to Rabbi Eckstein.
Who's Rabbi Eckstein?
He is the founder of Dori Yisharim.
Oh, okay.
Just continue reading it?
What?
Should you continue reading?
Yeah. If you wrote
It's not so
it,
long. It's not so long.
it's based on our discussion, right?
On ownership, so yes.
Ownership, no? Serious. Go ahead.
It's very related, I think. So, okay, first, Shalom. Hello.
Yeah.
My name is Shalom Yisrael. I lost my Dori Yisharim ID. I was told I need to test again. If necessary, my mother will pay again, but please consider 200 is no small sum. As I understand, in halacha, 2 identifying signs is considered sufficient to determine ownership of a lost object. Please see it in the information I have is not enough to determine ownership in my case.
Oh, no, it's a different thing. It has nothing to do with our discussion here.
Okay.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I hear. No, that's a different thing. Different thing. It's a different concept completely. proof of ownership and ownership is not the same thing. You're talking about proof of ownership.
Right.
Two identifying signs do not make it yours. They only prove that it's yours.
It's true. But is that the maskana when it comes to kashrus? Is that the signs only identify but don't make it itself kosher?
Which kosher? I mean, a kosher on an animal?
Yeah, there's a discussion. Is a simon just something to identify, or it actually makes it kosher?
And how does it make kosher?
I don't know. Anyhow.
I mean, according to the opinion that the sign make it kosher. I mean, what does it mean make it kosher? How does it make it kosher?
It's the way the game was set up. What do you mean?
The game was set up
It's the rules Hashem gave.
because Hashem said so, therefore it becomes like this.
Right.
But when you lost article where we have simonim, altogether there's a Gemara, there's a question in the Gemara of simonim deiraisa midrabban.
Right.
Simonim are only indicators, proof of ownership. They're not determining ownership.
Sure.
Okay. So, in other words, as you were learning, your mind was elsewhere.
A little bit.
A little bit.
3% of it.
No, that's not 3%. That's 97%. The other 3% is you were sitting here. I told him, listen, it's your prerogative, you know. All right. But we made progress in, I think. Thank you.
Okay.